So you guys give a warm welcome to Putti Benner. They love you. So Putti is one of the associate directors at BSM, and you've been on staff 10 years already, and she has 2 beautiful little daughters. And Putti, tell us about yourself. What was your spiritual background when you came to UTA?
So I grew up, my parents were refugees of the Khmer Rouge regime from Cambodia. And so I was first generation American. And I remember so many things that I experienced that were different from me and the people around me, just from like the food that I ate, the language that I spoke at home, to the religion that we practiced. And I noticed that my family identified as Buddhist, and what I experienced in Buddhism was sticking incense in the sand mounds and praying to ancestors and setting out food for ancestors. And as I grew older, I just was so curious about different religions and the different things that people around me practiced. And I asked people questions about them. And something that I noticed growing up when we would drive around homes and around Christmas time was that I would see Santa Claus on someone's lawn, and then I'd also see like a baby in a manger. And naturally, I'd ask my parents about that, like, what is that scene? And I'm like, I don't know. And so I knew that baby was named Jesus, and I knew that big man was Santa. And so I thought that Jesus grew up to be Santa, naturally. and that was really about as far as Christianity I really understood at a really young age. But as I just learned about different religions when I was about 14 years old, I realized I identified the most with this term called atheism. It's just someone who just didn't believe in God. And so I came to UTA as a freshman, atheist, and was a really happy atheist at the time.
She was. I still remember when you introduced yourself to me on the tile over there. She said, "Hi, I'm Putti, and I'm an atheist." And she had a big smile on her face. It was great. So tell us how you came to know Christ.
Yeah, I came to UTA just really excited and eager to make friends and meet lots of people. And so I was walking through my dorm, Lipscomb. I don't know who can give a shout out to Lipscomb for me. Yeah, a few of y'all. And I remember walking through the halls, and I'd meet people. There was this one guy who was really friendly. He walked up to me and he handed me a flyer, and he invited me to Vertical. And I remember looking at him and saying, "No thanks, I'm an atheist." And he just said very confidently back, like, "Well, atheists are invited to or welcome to come to Bible study too." And I looked at him just dumbfounded. I was like, "I didn't know that. Okay, well, I want to come." I just thought only Christians could come. And so I eventually started going, and I just loved it at the BSM. I made so many friends really easily. People invited me to just do fun things throughout the week, go to Walmart together, hang out on campus, play capture the flag, play ping pong, like just so many fun things. But they also shared the gospel with me. They were really bold in sharing their faith with me, inviting me into their lives. I heard the gospel a lot, like several times a week. And I was just like the atheist girl who followed my friends around as they were sharing the gospel with other people, because I was so curious about what these Christians were doing. And I just was really attracted to the boldness that they lived out and the sincerity. And I just kept thinking, like, they keep telling me that's Jesus in them, there's the Holy Spirit in them. And I'm just like, no, it's not. It has to be something else. So for a while, I told my friends, I would look them in the eyes, just being really honest and frank. I'm never going to become a Christian, and so you can just stop praying for me. I know you're praying for me, and I just don't want you to waste your time praying for me. And so I told them that, I believe that, and over time, God just continued to soften my heart and give me this desire to yearn for more. And I remember one day I walked into the BSM, and it was a closet at the time that they changed into this prayer room. And I walked into that room and I closed the door behind me. And I remember seeing this map on the wall. And I think people are just praying for people from different countries or different missionaries across the world. And there was these journals that I opened up, and there's these different prayer requests that I read through that were interesting for me to read through. And then I remember seeing this bowl, and I remember thinking, that's a really interesting bowl. It read, "Pray for your lost friends." And I remember thinking, wow, these Christians have a lot of missing friends. I wonder where they all went. I was like, I can't think of any like friends that are lost and missing. And so I take that bowl and I just sit on the ground and I dump the bowl out and I open up these little tiny pieces of paper and I read my name, Putti Sock, Putti Sock, Putti Sock. And I just saw that my friends were so faithful to keep praying for me and sharing for me, even though I had told them over and over again I would never become a Christian. And in that room, I just really cried out to God, like, if you can really save me, and if you're really real, because I felt like a crazy person at the time. Like, I didn't believe in him. I was an atheist, but I was like, but maybe he's real. Can you give me that same kind of faith? Because I know that only you can give that you've given my friends, to believe in you and to trust in you. And so it was the very next day, we went to Riverbend Retreat Center for our fall retreat. And I heard the gospel that night, and I felt called to respond. And so I went for a walk, and one of my close friends, Jared, went on a walk with me. And he was like, Putti, what's going on? And I shared with him, I was like, I want to receive Christ, but I'm just not sure. And so we sat down, prayed to receive Christ that night, and became a Christian that night. And then, I remember waking up the next day just with a lot of like, okay, this really happened. Am I really saved? So I asked God to just help give me some evidence of my salvation and give me a little bit of assurance. And I remember walking on campus the next day and walking through my dorm and just having this overwhelming feeling that God was telling me, Putti, I'm real and I'm here, and you need to tell your friends that. You need to tell people that I'm alive. And so I just knew that Jesus was alive in me at that time.
I love it so much. You mentioned Lipscomb, and I get tear up because I love that place so much. Most of you only know Lipscomb because it was COVID housing. But for a lot of years, a lot of your faithful predecessors shared Christ in Lipscomb, and so many people heard the gospel there. It's really sweet. So, Putti, now it's open mic time. I'm just going to let you answer this question however you will. What's any encouragement or any challenge you want to share with this group tonight?
A word of encouragement I want to share with y'all is to let the gospel be the filter. And as you're sharing your faith with lost people, it's really easy to think like, oh, she's not interested, or like she only comes for, someone said this earlier, their friend was like coming for free food. She's only interested in the free food, or she only wants to hang out a little bit, or like she just doesn't seem, interested. And we really don't know that. We don't know how that person will respond to the gospel until we share the gospel with them. And so we want the gospel to be the filter. There are so many people around us where we can kind of guess and say like, I'm not really sure if that person is ready to receive Christ, but we don't know that. And it's not up to us to make that judgment. God has called us to be responsible for just faithfully sharing the gospel with lost people and leaving the results up to him. And so my encouragement for Christians is to let the gospel be the filter, share with as many people as possible, and see what God will do with the rest. And then for people who are not Christians, who are unsure of where they are in their faith, I have the same encouragement for you, is to let the gospel be the filter. There might be things holding you back, like examples of friends or family that call themselves Christians, and you're like, I just don't know if I want that, or I'm unsure of these things in Christianity, or I'm unsure of wanting to give up different things in my life. But hear the gospel, hear that Jesus Christ died on the cross, was buried, 3 days later rose from the grave, and he wants you to have hope and life in him, and trust in that, trust in him.
Putti, we love you. We appreciate you so much. Thank you.